Around me are the sounds of panic and horror. Gunshots fill the once silent air, and people in white lab coats are running and screaming past my room. I know they are because I can see them through the reflective wall that shows my own reflection. How is this possible, you might ask? Well, I was once the hope for humanity. This is how it began. I was 13 and still had some sort of life stitched together, if you could call it that. My father was non-existent, and my mother trying to form a life out of broken pieces scattered all over the floor. I had no social life. I still find it very hard to open up to people and even share my ideas. I was a loner, and my only friends were books. I always knew there was something wrong with me. I never talked to anyone, which made people think I was dim-witted, but I'm actually very smart. In 7th grade I was taking an algebra, and so on. Next is the fact I hear voices. I shouldn't say voices. It's mostly one voice telling me what will happen. The 9/11 bombings, or volcano that will bring the deaths of thousands across the globe. Sometimes I can hear the dialogue associated with the event. A newborn child crying, or an old person dying of cancer, breathing in their last breath. I'm sorry I'm probably boring you. I'll cut to the point. Last week, World War III began, and an infectious disease spread like wildfire across the country. It made people go crazy. Not like zombies, but worse. These creatures' flesh started peeling off like the peel of a banana, leaving white bones sticking out at strange angles, and the red muscle showing only. The eyes of these normal people would turn red, filling with blood and hiding the irises and pupils. These people still had their intelligence, but lost sense of what was right and wrong. They killed others, not infecting them, but killing them in the goriest, inhuman ways possible. The only way to become them was to have their poisonous blood seep into your body, making parts of your mind diminish until the part that made you was gone. The scientists came to me. I had no idea how they found me. My mother had just died from one of these red fiends, leaving me alone in the world, detached from this murder-ridden society. I will not say how she died because it will surely give you nightmares for the rest of your life. I agreed to help try to save humanity, to gain vengeance for my sweet mother's death. I was able to see where the creatures would strike, to save lives before they were lost. I would prevent casualties before they happened, and the scientists provided me with a home and this sense of good. I was finally helping others. It was no use. The head scientist got infected, and, in fear of dying, did not report this. He infected others in the complex, and this is where I am today. Locked in my room, and hearing screams and grunts from the other rooms. I am probably the only survivor left. It is strange that the internet is still working here. But here's a story of how humanity failed to save humanity from itself. Goodbye. I ran straight to the supermarket when I heard about the nuclear strike. The government said that a deadly disease was spreading where I lived, and that they were going to eliminate anyone who had it. When I got to the store, I saw almost all of the canned foods were gone. In fact, almost everything was gone. I grabbed all of the cans I could carry, ran outside to my car, and realised it was not enough to keep me alive in my bomb shelter. Wondering what I would do, the nuclear strike being imminent, I saw a woman and two small children loading a van with food cans. They had enough to survive years, I thought. I ran to the woman and asked if I could have some of the cans. I'm sorry, I have more people to feed at my house, I can't spare any, she told me. Walking back to my car disappointed, I stepped on something. I looked down to see I stepped on a screwdriver. That's when I got the idea. I bent down and picked it up, and looked toward the woman, still loading the van with the canned foods. I needed that food. So I walked over to the woman. I'm sorry, she said to me, I can't spare. She was cut off by the screwdriver I rammed into her chest. I'm sorry, I said as she slowly died. Her children were gone. I don't know where they went, and I didn't care. I shut the hatch on the back of the van, jumped in, and drove back to my house. In the street there were people begging me to let them in the van. The nuclear bomb would hit soon, and there was no room, so I kept driving. When they started trying to block the van, I floored it. I don't know how many people I ran over. I jumped out of the van, now crimson, and started unpacking the cans into the bomb shelter. It took about an hour or so, but by the time I got all of the cans into the bomb shelter, I saw the planes. I ran into the bomb shelter, and after a few minutes, I heard an extremely loud bang. Then nothing. It would be a few months until the radiation cleared up, so I sat down. I was hungry, so I picked up a can, That's when I realised I left the can opener in my house.